So this is where the gas savings idea comes from, or where a lot of it had been discussed, or at least the measurements. So with Genius, there is in the app, under the performance section where you can see the performances, there are calculations that need to be run all the time. I mean, this is like, there's a lot of tokenomics here. There's a lot of math going on. So these calculations need to be run all the time. And so our choices, do we let the end user run these functions, run these calculations every time that they end their miner? Or do we allow the whole community, do we incentivize the whole community to pre-run these calculations, to do all these pre-calculations for the end users, right? So that's what Genius does. Every day, anyone can be rewarded, 1 to 4 people can be rewarded 10,000 Genius by paying for the gas to run calculations, to pre-run calculations for other people. Now, if you had, let's say you had like 1 million people in the Genius ecosystem, instead of all 1 million people running these same calculations redundantly and over again, you would only need this to be run once. And so this ends up saving people who use the token. This is a very novel way of saving people from having to do gas on calculations and reading from the disk, because all that information is summarized and pre-calculated by people who they might not even have a Genius miner. They might be sitting on the sidelines running these gas functions and getting 10,000 Genius, 10,000 to 40,000 Genius as a reward. So if Hex had something like this, the end stake gas fees for Hex will on average be 98 to 99% gas savings. So something that destroyed Hex can't destroy Genius in the same regards. And not to hit it on Hex, but it happens to be an example of why this is useful. And it's rare that you have great examples of where systems fail, because somebody has to fail first for you to show them that example. And Genius has many of these examples, many of these very novel innovations that unfortunately there's no examples of people failing with that yet, but there will be, and there can be.
So, yeah, go.
It just reminds me of some other functionality, like another thing that because that actual issue that Robert just brought up literally affected me on a few stakes. When I first got into Hex, I ran some small tests, with small amounts of money, and then there were very long stakes, and I decided with everything that was happening here recently in the market, okay, let me get out. And literally, I ended up with virtually nothing, because the stake, or the end stake fee, cost the total value almost of the amount that I had staked. So it was very disappointing, even though looked like I had earned interest. It's a real problem. And then another real problem that I know Robert's mentioned in the past is the one where there's whales that come on and decide to stake for small periods of time. They finish their stakes and then they dump the interest on the market. So there's the math that's set up as far as the kind of adjustment to the end stake fee schedule, as well as the length of time someone can do an advanced miner. Those are in place to solve those kinds of problems. There's all kinds of really detailed tokenomics. And I'll say, knowing Robert for so long, getting to work alongside him for the last 18 months, literally his amazing is, well, specific to crypto, but just in general, is incentivization. So like you said, the pillars of a great project, how do you incentivize the community, keep things running, keep things moving. Robert has literally put in 5 years, along with a number of other tokenomics developers, crafting all this. Unfortunately, that means a 50-page white paper and, probably what ends up needing to be a multi-hour AMA. But it's super exciting. And I think something, as I've said, he's planned things out for 20 to 50 years from now. So,
I think if you experience it, though, you see it happen. You see the magic happen before you. Just like when you experience Bitcoin, you see that it works and it's awesome. You don't have to sit there and study the tokenomics all day long. But we want to know about it, right? We're scared. We want to know, or maybe we're just curious. right? So there's many reasons why we want to know. But you know, when we see it happen, it's like, wow, how the hell is that happening? That's awesome.
There's so much to unpack.